Well, what is a Christian? There are many ways you could answer that question, and obviously many ways you could rightfully answer that question. But one way you could answer the question, what is a Christian, is by saying this: a Christian is someone who has God's Spirit living inside of them. A Christian is someone who has God's Spirit living inside of them. That's a truth that we discover in the New Testament. Anyone who has God's Spirit is in fact a believer. And in this section of 1 Corinthians chapter 13, Paul is starting to speak now about the work of spiritual gifts. He's starting a new section as he speaks about our life together as a church. And Paul's going to share with us two implications of what it means to have God's Spirit living inside us, to us as believers. The first way it affects us, Paul says, is it affects what we profess. What we profess. Look at verse 1-3. Now, concerning spiritual gifts, brothers, I do not want you to be uninformed. You know that when you were pagans, you were led astray to mute idols, however you were led. Therefore, I want you to understand that no one speaking in the Spirit of God ever says, Jesus is accursed, and no one can say, Jesus is Lord, except in the Holy Spirit. The first way the Spirit affects us is it affects what we profess. And so only those who can say Jesus is Lord, Paul says here, truly have the Spirit. It's only by the Spirit's work that we're able to profess Jesus is Lord. And of course, the idea here isn't that you need to have the Spirit living inside you so that you could literally say those three words, Jesus is Lord. Anyone can say those three words, whether you're a Christian or not. But the idea here is that we all worship something, and what we worship is professed, not just with our lips, but our lifestyle and behaviors. And only those who have the Spirit of God, only those who are truly converted, are able to profess, not just with their lips, but with their lives, that Jesus really is Lord. He really is my God. He is my Master. And so the Spirit has many implications, one of which is what we profess. But the second implication that Paul expounds here is not just does the Spirit affect what we profess, but also what we possess. Look with me from verse 4 through to 11. Now, there are varieties of gifts, but the same Spirit. And there are varieties of service, but the same Lord. And there are varieties of activities, but it is the same God who empowers them all and everyone. To each is given the manifestation of the Spirit for the common good. For to one is given through the Spirit the utterance of wisdom, and to another the utterance of knowledge according to the same Spirit. To another faith by the same Spirit, to another gifts of healing by the one Spirit, to another the working of miracles, to another prophecy, to another the ability to distinguish between spirits, to another various kinds of tongues, to another the interpretation of tongues. All these are empowered by one and the same Spirit, who apportions to each one individually as he wills. Not only does having the Spirit have an implication on what we profess, that Jesus is Lord, but also in what we possess. Paul says that all those who have God's Spirit possess a spiritual gift. He lists a number of the spiritual gifts in this passage. It's not a comprehensive list. Rather, the idea that he wants to convey is this is given to you by God, and it is used for what purpose? Verse 7, for the common good. The purpose of your spiritual gift isn't just to build you up, isn't just for your individual enjoyment. Rather, it's for the edification of the whole gathering local church. It's for the common good. And so here's your challenge for today. As a Christian, you are able to profess Jesus as Lord by the Spirit. You're also someone who possesses a spiritual good for the common edification of those around you. Firstly, how does it encourage you that it was only through the Spirit's work that brought you into a relationship with God? How does that cause you and provoke you to thank the Lord today? But secondly, what way has God gifted you through His Spirit? And how can you specifically use it for the building up of the church, for the common good of your fellow believers, and for the edification of those around you? Hope you have a great day.